Spending $240 on a portable tire inflator is either the absolute smartest insurance policy you'll ever buy or a complete waste of $200.
And trusting a $30 plastic box from Amazon to save you on a dark highway? That's either peak frugality or you're just asking to get stranded with a melted piston.
So today, we're putting the internet's favorite budget pump, the AstroAI digital tire inflator, at roughly $32, directly up against the heavy-duty king, the VIAIR 400P. Coming in at $240. Stick around because we're going to reveal the exact tire size and pressure where these budget inflators literally physically burn out their motors. Plus, we uncovered a dangerous electrical mistake drivers make with heavy-duty compressors that will leave your vehicle dead on the side of the road. Let me kick things off with why millions of commuters buy the AstroAI. Just picture this. It's 11 at night on a Tuesday, 34 degrees outside, freezing rain, and your dash flashes a low tire warning 20 miles from home. You pull into a sketchy gas station. The air pump is either completely broken or it wants 8 quarters in cash, which, let's be real, nobody carries anymore.
Right. That is every commuter's absolute worst nightmare.
Exactly. So you grab this tiny yellow AstroAI right out of your trunk. It weighs barely 2.2 pounds. You plug it into your 12-volt socket, screw on the hose, punch 35 psi into the backlit digital screen, and flip the switch. Just 2 minutes later, your tire is full, the pump shuts off automatically, and you're back on a warm highway. That $32, it just paid for itself in one single night. Fair enough for a Honda Civic on dry pavement, Dean. But let me give you the enthusiast reality. You're 3 hours off the grid in the Utah desert with your truck. You aired down massive 35-inch all-terrain tires to 15 psi for rock crawling. Now you hit pavement and you need all 4 tires back up to 36 psi so you can safely drive 65 miles per hour all the way home.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess you aren't pulling out my little yellow buddy for that.
No way. If you hook that $30 AstroAI up to 4 35-inch tires, you're gonna stand out in the dirt for nearly an hour watching it literally vibrate itself to pieces before the motor completely overheats on tire number 2. That is exactly why I carry the VAIR 400P. It's a 10.4-pound cast metal workhorse that clamps directly onto your car battery and pushes serious air volume every single second. Which brings us to Section 1, power delivery and electrical setup. Because honestly, how these two totally different inflators get their juice determines exactly what they can handle in the real world. Look, the VIAIR 400P runs on a permanent magnetic motor, pulling 30 amps at 12 volts DC. That generates over 400 watts of raw power. Because a 30-amp draw would absolutely melt your dashboard wiring, VIAIR gives you these heavy-gauge 8-foot power leads with alligator clamps that connect straight to your battery terminals, fully protected by an inline 40-amp blade fuse.
Right, which means popping your hood in the rain and working around a hot engine block. Meanwhile, the AstroAI is pure convenience. It draws a very modest 10 to 15 amps at 120 watts through a standard 12-volt plug. You just plug it into your dash, run the 10-foot cord out the door, and you're good to go.
Hold on a second, though. Here's a massive myth bust for you. Many modern crossovers, European sedans, and electric vehicles actually cap their interior 12-volt sockets at only 10 amps, or 100 watts. If you take a budget inflator pulling 12 or 13 amps and plug it into a 10-amp port, you are going to pop that fuse immediately. That completely knocks out your dashboard display, your phone chargers, basically that whole outlet until you can dig in and replace the fuse.
Yeah, that's a crucial watch-out. Now, the AstroAI does have a 15-amp glass fuse built right into the plug tip, but you absolutely have to check the rating on your car's outlet flap first. If your socket is rated for 15 amps, you're totally fine.
Now let's talk airflow. The AstroAI pushes 35 liters per minute, which is roughly 1.2 CFM at zero back pressure. But the VIAIR 400P, it delivers 2.3 CFM of free airflow. And here's the kicker. Even pushing against 50 psi of tire pressure, the VIAIR still pumps 1.45 CFM. It is pushing literally double the air volume even when fighting under a heavy load. Moving into Section 2, real-world fill benchmarks. Because let's be real, on-paper specs only actually matter if they save you real time out in the freezing cold. Okay, so we ran both compressors through 3 really strict fill benchmarks. First up was a standard commuter sedan tire, a 215/55 R17, inflating from 25 up to 35 psi.
And the AstroAI knocked out that 10 psi top-off in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. For an everyday commuter just topping off before work, 2 minutes is completely painless. You set the pressure, answer a quick email, and it stops automatically right on the exact number.
Sure, but the VIAIR 400P did that exact same sedan top-off in 42 seconds. You can barely stand up from the tire before you hit 35 psi.
Look, 42 seconds is fast, Marcus, but is saving 90 seconds on a sedan really worth paying an extra $208?
For sedan? Okay, probably not. But let's look at benchmark number 2, a compact SUV tire, a 235/65R17 going from a totally flat 20 up to 35 psi.
The AstroAI took 4 minutes and 40 seconds to complete that 15 psi fill. The brass connector definitely got warm, but the unit ran smoothly and finished the job without stopping.
Meanwhile, the VIAIR 400P finished that exact same SUV tire in 1 minute and 15 seconds. Think about it. If you're filling 2 or 3 low tires before a big family road trip, the AstroAI is going to take you 15 minutes, while the VIAIR is done and packed away in under 4 minutes.
All right, fair point. But just wait until you hear benchmark number 3, because this is where Marcus really gets to gloat.
Oh, you know I will. Test number 3 was our true enthusiast benchmark, a massive 35-inch light truck tire, a 315/70R17, airing up from a 15 psi trail pressure all the way back to 35 psi street pressure.
The VIAIR 400P aired that giant 35-inch tire up in 2 minutes and 20 seconds flat. It filled all 4 truck tires back to street pressure in under 10 minutes total, and honestly, the motor was barely even warm.
And what exactly happened when we hooked up your little budget darling, Dean?
Yeah, it was rough. The AstroAI took 13 minutes and 25 seconds just to do one single 35-inch tire. By the time it hit 32 psi, the housing was blazing hot, the motor pitch had audibly dropped, and the power cord was uncomfortably warm.
Guys, Dean literally had time to walk down the street, grab a nice coffee, drink the whole thing, and come back, and the AstroAI was still just grinding away on tire number 1.
I'll admit it freely. If you drive a lifted truck or a full-size SUV on 33 or 35-inch rubber, a $32 cigarette lighter pump simply lacks the physical displacement for that kind of volume.
Which perfectly tees up Section 3, torture test, duty cycle, and internal build quality. This right here is exactly where budget inflators fail, and it's exactly why commercial compressors actually cost real money. You know, most drivers just look at maximum PSI ratings on the box and assume all inflators are created equal. The AstroAI advertises 100 PSI. The VIAIR 400P advertises 150 PSI. But here's a secret. Maximum PSI is mostly just marketing noise. What actually determines whether an inflator survives 10 years is its duty cycle.
Exactly. Duty cycle is basically the percentage of time a compressor can safely operate within a specific window before it absolutely needs a cooldown. The VIAIR 400P boasts a 33% duty cycle at 100 psi. That means it can run continuously under high pressure for 20 minutes straight, followed by a 40-minute rest. But at normal tire pressures, like around 35 psi, its continuous runtime extends well beyond 30 minutes without breaking a sweat.
The AstroAI, on the other hand, like pretty much all sub-$50 inflators, has a strict 10 to 15-minute maximum run limit. If you run it past 15 minutes of continuous pumping, you have to shut it off and let the motor cool for 10 minutes. If you don't, you're going to melt the internal plastic gears and totally scorch the piston seal. And when we actually took both of these units apart, the engineering difference was just glaring. Inside the AstroAI, you've got a small 12-volt DC motor, a lightweight plastic housing, some basic wiring, and a composite piston assembly. I mean, it's remarkably well built for $32, I'll give it that, but there's no dedicated metal heatsink in there and no internal cooling fan. Then you look at the VIAIR 400P. It's built like an industrial air tool. It features a cast aluminum motor housing, an anodized aluminum cylinder wall, a precision PTFE piston ring, and a highly important integrated thermal overload protector. Basically, if the VIAIR ever reaches an unsafe temperature, that thermoswitch automatically cuts power to protect the motor, and then safely resets itself once it cools down.
You've got to look at the base plate too. The VIAIR sits on this heavy diamond plate aluminum sand tray equipped with 4 rubber vibration isolators. When you set the VIAIR down on loose gravel, mud, or deep sand on the side of a trail, it stays perfectly planted. It won't tip over, and it won't suck grit up into the air intake.
Meanwhile, the AstroAI just has 4 small rubber nubs on its plastic base. Now, on flat garage concrete or clean asphalt, it stays put just fine. But the second you put it on a sloped gravel roadside, it'll literally vibrate and walk across the ground like a buzzing bee unless you pin it down with your foot. Let's transition to Section 4, usability, reach, and automation. We need to talk about physical constraints because this totally changes your everyday roadside experience. So the AstroAI gives you a 10-foot power cord and a 2.5-foot rubber air hose. That gives you exactly 12.5 feet of total reach from your dashboard socket. Now, for any sedan, hatchback, or compact crossover, 12.5 feet is plenty. You just run the cord through the open doors and you can reach all four wheels super easily.
Sure, but try doing that on a full-size crew cab truck, a Chevy Suburban, or a long bed diesel. 12.5 feet will not reach your rear passenger tire from the front dashboard socket without pulling the cord bone-taut and risking snapping the plug right off.
Yeah, on big vehicles, you'd either need a 12-volt extension lead or a dedicated rear cargo outlet. But with the VIAIR 400P, your reach is pretty much unlimited.
Absolutely. With the VIAIR, you get an 8-foot battery power lead combined with a massive 25-foot bright yellow coiled polyurethane air hose. That gives you 33 feet of total working reach directly from the battery. You literally just clip onto the battery, leave the heavy compressor by the engine, grab that coiled hose, and you can walk all the way around a full-size truck, a boat trailer, or a travel trailer without ever needing to move the compressor itself.
Okay, but Marcus, you've got to admit right here is where the AstroAI completely clobbers the VIAIR, and that's digital automation and convenience for everyday drivers. It is totally idiot-proof.
I'll give you that one. The digital interface on the AstroAI is definitely much friendlier for your normal, everyday daily drivers.
Right? On the AstroAI, you get this bright, backlit LCD screen. You just press the unit button to choose between PSI, bar, or KPA. Then you press the plus and minus buttons to preset your target pressure, let's say 36 PSI. You flip the switch and you walk away. When the tire hits exactly 36 PSI, the digital logic board cuts the motor off automatically. There's zero guessing, zero danger of overinflating, and zero standing there holding a manual trigger in the freezing wind. Plus, it has a bright white LED flashlight built right into the faceplate for good measure. With the standard VIAIR 400P, there is absolutely no digital auto shutoff. It uses a heavy-duty inline analog pressure gauge that features a built-in deflator valve. Because it's a continuous flow pump, you physically lock the brass chuck onto your valve stem, flip the heavy toggle switch on the compressor body, and manually watch that mechanical needle climb. And to get a truly accurate pressure reading, you actually have to release the inline lever or flip the unit off for a couple of seconds just to stop the airflow surge, which essentially means you have to stand right hovering over the tire, monitor the gauge constantly, and physically shut it down yourself when you hit your pressure. If you get distracted by your phone for a minute, you could easily pump 50 PSI into a tire that's only rated for 32. That's true. Now, VIAIR does sell a 400P automatic model that comes with a gas station-style trigger gun and an internal pressure switch, but opting for that model pushes the price well past $290. Moving to Section 5, critical warnings and closing the open loops. Let's get into some common VIAIR mistakes, the things we really wish we knew beforehand, and we'll finally answer those two big open loops we set up at the very start of the explainer. Let's close that first open loop right now. The exact physical failure threshold for budget tire inflators. Through all of our testing and teardowns, we found that the $32 AstroAI is completely reliable for tire sizes up to 30 inches in outer diameter and pressure staying under 40 PSI. But if you try to use a compact cigarette lighter inflator on tires larger than 31 inches or on heavy commercial truck and trailer tires requiring 65 to 80 PSI, that heavy back pressure forces that tiny internal motor to pull peak amperage continuously. That causes severe heat soak in the nylon piston rod, completely melts the cylinder seal, and will blow the 15-amp plug fuse usually within 8 to 12 minutes. And here is a golden operational trick to prevent cheap pumps from ever burning out on you. Never screw the brass air chuck onto a pressurized tire before turning the power switch on. If you screw it onto a tire that already has 30 PSI sitting in it, the pump's motor has to fight that 30 PSI of back pressure the very millisecond it starts up. That creates a massive current spike that absolutely destroys the motor brushes. Always, always turn the compressor switch on first, let the motor spin freely for just 1 second, and only then attach the chuck to your valve stem. Now let's close that second open loop, the highly dangerous electrical mistake that drivers make when using heavy-duty battery-clamped compressors exactly like the VIAIR 400P.
Right. When people buy a heavy-duty compressor, their first instinct is usually to pop the hood, clamp the leads onto the battery, and start pumping air with the car engine completely turned off, usually thinking they'll save gas or avoid breathing exhaust fumes.
Never, ever do that. The VIAIR 400P draws up to 30 amps of continuous DC power. At 30 amps, running that compressor with your engine turned off is going to drain a standard automotive starter battery completely below cranking voltage in less than 8 minutes. You're going to finish airing up all 4 of your tires, jump happily back in the driver's seat, turn the key, and get absolutely nothing but a dead, rapid clicking sound. all because your car battery is entirely drained.
Exactly. You must always start your vehicle's engine first, leave it idling in park with the parking brake fully set, and only then connect your heavy-duty compressor clamps. Running the engine ensures your alternator is delivering a steady 14.4 volts directly to the compressor motor. That maximizes your airflow while guaranteeing your car battery stays fully charged the whole time.
And finally, Section 6, the final verdict. After all the intense benchmarks, the deep teardowns, and all the real-world testing, which one of these actually wins? Here's my official verdict. If you are an everyday commuter, a suburban family driver, or honestly anyone driving a sedan, hatchback, or compact crossover who just wants fast, painless roadside security, buy the AstroAI digital tire inflator for $32. It fits perfectly in your glove box or your spare tire well, gives you idiot-proof digital auto shutoff, runs right off your interior 12-volt socket, and handles regular monthly tire top-offs flawlessly. Spending $240 on an industrial compressor for a Toyota Camry or a Honda CR-V is just absolute total overkill.
And here is my verdict. If you drive a half-ton or three-quarter-ton truck, if you're an off-roader running 33 or 35-inch tires, if you tow a camper or a boat trailer, or if you simply demand a bulletproof metal tool that'll easily last 15 years without failing, buy the VIAIR 400P for $240. The raw speed, that massive 33-foot reach, the heavy-duty cycle, and the brute battery clamp power make it the undisputed king for serious drivers.
The AstroAI easily takes the commuter crown for unbeatable value and simplicity.
And the VIAIR 400P takes the heavy-duty crown for anyone who needs completely unstoppable performance.
So we've laid it all out. The ultimate question is, are you buying peace of mind for the daily commute or unstoppable power for the trail?
Think about it. The next